Hey guys, Scott here. I was walking down the street, walking down the streets of Brooklyn, as you can see here behind me, on a green screen, and I heard some guy. I heard some jokester. Got some blue hair. Probably trying to get some attention. Yeah, he was going on about some kind of tier list with some DBD. Okay, I was listening. It was pretty good. Yeah, he has some pretty good stuff to say. Okay, fine. Okay, sure. Then he gets to this part about the Wraith. Okay, this motherfucker, this wise guy. He puts Wraith in C tier. Okay? C tier. Wraith. See? Maybe you should see a therapist, okay? Because if you think... I don't know. This joke is so dumb. I don't know why I'm going on with this. Ots made a video about how Wraith is... Well, he didn't make a video about how Wraith is C tier. He made a tier list, which I agree with like 99% of. And he actually has the unfathomably based opinion that Dracula is in fact better than Spirit. So, God bless. But he also put Wraith in C tier, which, I got problems with. I cannot envision any world in which Wraith is like worse than the Dredge or something like that. Wraith is, in my opinion, legitimately like bottom of A tier. And I know that can sound kind of crazy, but again, from my personal experience, I pretty much consider myself a Wraith main. He's the only character I ever got to P100. Wraith in pretty much everything but the most competitive of settings, and even in actual tournaments too. I've seen Wraiths get 4Ks. Now, to be fair, it's more regulated because they get specific maps for the Wraith, but I will say that Wraith has been my most consistently high win rate killer out of any killer I've ever played. And the reason is Wraith's ability to choose when he wants to chase and choose when he wants to be a hit and run killer is unparalleled. I think he is the best in the entire game at doing that. Now, the hit and run strategy is very, very boring to go against, and I understand that, but the fact is, you can play Wraith as a chase killer. You can use Swift Hunt and Windstorm to get in front of people and block windows and pallets. You can lunge around loops if you know exactly the timing when you uncloak. There's a lot of stuff you can do with Wraith that's really, really good when you are actually uncloaking, and you can use that for anti-loop as well, especially if you have Windstorm, getting to windows before people can get there. It's all really good stuff. Wraith's anti-loop is actually kind of decent. You can also throw on things like Shadow Dance if you got people pre-dropping, and that can make it even easier to get through all the pallets. And then, within a minute, there's nothing left on the map, and you've got a much easier time picking off people that are injured. But if all this fails, and you don't have the option to chase somebody, you can still hit and run, which is annoyingly effective even against the best players in the world. Pretty much to counter that, you need a very sweaty 4-man on comms to call out, hey, he left this exact area. He might be going to this exact area now. Start pre-running or something like that. Barring anything but that, you can't really... You shut the fuck up about the doctor here. You can't really go... You can't avoid Wraith's insane ability to do hit and run unless you are the sweatiest of 4-mans on comms. And even if you are, there are still not a lot of things you can do other than give the general direction that the Wraith is coming from. Now, the best part about this is Wraith does not have to chase people. And what do good survivors do? Well, they're really good at getting chased. They know how to loop properly. But you can't loop someone if they're uncloaking behind a wall and hit you within 1 second. That's why I always thought that Myers was not as bad as people thought too. He's still pretty bad, but he's not as bad as people thought, because the ability to go from no Terradius to insta down in 1 second is very good, and it equalizes bad players and good players, because both bad players and good players can't do anything if they have no stimulus to react to. If you uncloak behind a wall and just hit someone before they can do anything about it, unless there's like a pallet right next to them or something like that, there's just not much you can do. And Wraith's ability to hit and run and do that means even if you get very good players, you can choose to just simply take chases in which you start while they're injured, in which case they're going to be very quick, or you can just simply not chase at all. And it doesn't matter how good you are if you can't react to something and the bell rings and you're like, oh, hey, I hear the bell, but then he's just going to lunge around the corner and smack me in the face. So that's why I think Wraith is much better than people give him credit for. Now, he's certainly not top tier or anything like that. I would say he's like, around the unknowns level of strength, in my opinion. And that really just mostly does come down to his ability to pick and choose when he wants to chase people, and not having to chase good players is an incredible benefit to this killer. Additionally, he synergizes better than I think every killer in the game with generator kicking perks. So perks like Pop Goes the Weasel, Eruption, really just anything you want to put on there, Dragon's Grip, whatever. He is probably the best gen kicker in the entire game. This is why in 2v8 he was the actual best killer in the entire mode. because his ability to apply generator kick perks and things like that is very good. He can cruise around the entire map very fast, never even have to uncloak, and he can just apply whatever debuff to the generator that he wants, and that is really good because a lot of the perks that have been nerfed over time are things that don't involve kicking gens. So, overall, he gets to benefit from perks that a lot of other killers can't benefit from as much. They're still really good, but it's kind of a pain in the ass running around and kicking generators all the time. But Wraith can do that at an extremely consistent amount. So he's really, really good at that. So just combine with that and then the other mentioned points in Otz's video where he's extremely, extremely non-map dependent, which is very, very impactful. His add-ons are really well designed, in my opinion. He's got very strong ones, even though I mostly just run Swift and Windstorm. Overall, I think Wraith is much better than people give him credit for. You might not argue that he's A tier, you might say he's B, but he's definitely not C. I can't see any world where a killer like the Dredge is better than him. Dredge is good on like 2 maps. Wraith is good on most maps. Like, I don't know. I know it's just personal bias because I absolutely love Wraith and he's got my highest win streak, but I just, compared to every other killer that's below him, I just don't get it. Wraith can actually shit on very good teams as well due to his ability to not have to chase people that are unhealthy and just take his free stealth hits. Again, every once in a while you get a map like Ormond or something where it's a wide open field, and yeah, his stealth ain't so great. But he's better on more maps than he's worse at them. So I think that's very important to go for there. So Wraith, I just wanted to disagree with this. Is definitely not C tier. I would say bottom of A or very top of B. He's a very solid killer, in my opinion. So I'm curious to hear what you guys think about that. Overall, I'd say I agree with most everything else on this list, but that's one thing that did rub me the wrong way. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.